All right, what is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream. First and foremost, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We'd love to have you here for future live streams and videos, so do not hesitate about smashing that subscribe button below if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon. That way, oops, I did not realize that I was live on my phone as well, so it's playing over there as well. Apparently had my YouTube pulled up, so didn't want any audio feedback on there. But yeah, so hopefully if you guys are tuning in for the first time, you will smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff, of course, so you won't miss any future live streams or videos. We try to either post a video, go live, post a short, whatever the case may be, some form of content for you guys at least once a day. Like I said, even if it's just a quick short, just trying to give you guys any and every type of information that I'm learning just on a day-to-day basis as I continue to walk through the journey of my pest control business. Want to shout out some of you all who were in the chat before we even went live. Han Yolo, how's it going? It says, not today, my world. If you all don't know what he's referring to, my world is a avid subscriber who is usually in the chat before really anybody, usually even before myself, in all honesty, because we try to schedule most of our lives in advance, as advanced as possible, right? And he hops in the chat very early on and says first and all that, and Hana Yolo says, not today, my world. DMB189, what's up? How's it going? How's it going? You said, I've been deep diving into this so much the last few days, ready to be self-employed and retired from Army. I find myself researching a lot. Your channel helps me a lot. I have a few questions tonight. Yeah, no, so definitely don't hesitate. As always, these live streams are for you guys specifically. First and foremost, if you ever have any questions whatsoever, that is why if you're relatively new to the channel and you see that a lot of our live streams are anywhere between 1 to 4 hours long, you're probably like, why are these streams so long? Well, in all honesty, it's because of you guys. Anytime you ask questions in the chat, I do the best in my ability to answer those questions in regards to starting a pest control business, growing a pest control business, all that type of stuff. Usually we have some sort of topic for the live stream, and then from there it just kind of transpires into, whatever questions you guys may have from there. So, of course, DNB189, if you have any of those questions on hand, don't hesitate to start firing them off. We can go from there with the stream. In terms of just giving you all an overall update, I always like to get to some frequently asked questions, as well as questions that I just received, from our Discord group, our Facebook group, those type of things. Of course, if you're not in those, they're totally free to join. Links to join the Facebook group as well as our Discord group are down in the description box below. We've had a couple questions in Discord recently. I forget who this is exactly. Oh, he changed his name apparently. He was asking though, man, I know it's one of you guys that tune in frequently. He asked, do you all have any recommendations for general liability insurance? Kristen had a great answer. Lipko or Markle seem to be the most common. Like I mentioned to him, I didn't even see Mario's response there, or John's as a matter of fact. But like I was explaining to him, we use Lipka for ours to feed off of Kristen's point, and people were talking about pricing, and I was just letting everyone know that we pay about $800 a year for our pest control general liability insurance. Let's see, Jersey Guys Balls in the Discord group chat asks, is there any way you can show us how you made your formidable form? I have a GoDaddy website, but I believe there's a way to embed a custom-made form into the website as well. So, just real quickly, it is a Formidable Forms, as far as I know, is of course, a WordPress plugin, right? But they do say that you can, if we go in here to like their features and whatnot, it says powerful WordPress plugin. Like everything on there mentions WordPress. That's why I was saying that, of course it's primarily going to be for WordPress, but they mentioned that you can embed your forms into other websites. You can do, of course, calculated fields, form data, polls and surveys, and much more, building your own form. That is what we did. And just to give you guys an idea, there's a lot that goes into it. So, like from the technical side of things, let's see, trying to log in on the back end. Let's see. Come on. We got a lot of windows open right now. I actually just upgraded my Wi-Fi too. I'm using the Eero, what is it called? The Eero 6 Plus. I actually have the box right over here. You guys might have heard of this. I'm sure I'm probably behind. I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not the most like tech savvy person or anything. I just thought standard Wi-Fi was, what you get. And we have fiber, what's it called, like fiber optic internet or whatever. It's supposed to be like the fastest. We're only paying for like the half gig or 500 Mbps speeds, but our Wi-Fi, it was in the far corner of the house here in the office, so I couldn't do any streams or anything in my backyard or really anywhere but here in my office. And the Eero 6 Plus has changed that big time. Of course, if you joined our live stream last night, you probably noticed that. But I'll get into kind of answering that question from Discord here in just a second. Prices for insurance. Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. Prices for insurance, residential and commercial. I'm interested in doing both, especially where I'll retire. It's going to be worth doing. Commercial, it is super expensive. Yeah, and you're probably referring to that stream that I did, I think about a week ago roughly, where I was saying, what was the title? Like why you shouldn't do commercial pest control. There was a bunch of caveats to that, of course. Like I said, I do commercial pest control as well. So when it comes to the prices for the general liability insurance, ours covers, everything in terms of our pest control business related, in terms of commercial pests, residential pests, termite, wildlife, bed bug. It covers like everything. And we're paying around $800 a year at the moment because we pay for a year up front, so you get slightly better pricing usually going that route. Of course, most people are reporting anywhere between $65 to $120 per month if you're going the monthly payment option. And like I mentioned a second ago, we use Lipka. They're one of like the go-tos. Lipka and Markle, those tend to be the two, kind of go-tos for the pest control industry. But of course there can be some local ones, like for example we have one here that they only do Texas residents specifically, like Texas pest control businesses I should say, and their prices, I might even be switching back to them this upcoming year. It depends on how much, if any, Lipka tries to raise our prices. I'll keep you guys updated, of course, if that's the case, and what the price increase would come out to and all that. But usually as well, it is also tiered pricing, meaning they ask you, how many employees do you have? What was your expected sales this year? That kind of thing. Of course, when you're going within your first year, the general rule of thumb is to just put like $50,000 on there, unless if, of course, you're going in with investors and this and that, and you're going to just blow up to like 500 grand plus your first year, which of course most of us aren't going that route. So usually, 50 grand, 100 grand, depending on your area, of course, that's going to be the rule of thumb. Just to put in perspective, I believe this last year I put on mine just either 100 or 150. And again, this doesn't have to be exact. These are just estimates, right? So I put either 100 or 150,000 on ours, and that gave us right around the $800 or so per year quote. Let's see. I watched that, but I'm going to retire and move to Gulf Shores, Alabama. It's all tourism. Exactly. No. So, you're going to want to make sure, and usually, as long as you're getting some legit insurance, you're not going to have an issue with them, like, not covering commercial or, whatever the case may be. Matter of fact, I would think they're more inclined to cover your commercial accounts than residential, to be honest, because residential tends to be where a lot of the headaches come from what I understand with the insurance claims side of everything. But hopefully that helps answer that question. And let's see, do I need commercial for like Airbnb houses? When you say commercial, what are you referring to exactly? Because are you referring to like commercial auto insurance? And that's the other thing. Are you prices for insurance, residential and commercial? I'm assuming you're still referring to like your general liability insurance for your like actual business insurance. That's going, like I said, the commercial is going to be covered. Like I said, as long as you're going with any legitimate company, the commercial and residential is going to insurance for business. Yeah, no, that's going to be covered. Like I said, it's not. If for some reason you're having them ask you, are you doing commercial or not, that's kind of a red flag, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I don't recall in the, 2 to 3 times I've, had to fill out these forms for our, business insurance, them dive into, well, I'm trying to think, actually, come to think of it. I know that they ask, like, how much in dollar amount do you plan on doing for, like, termite work, bed bug work? You know what? It may ask about like residential and commercial. Now that I think about it, it asks about it in terms of like a dollar amount, but like I said, it's covered. So if they're like talking about not covering it for some reason, that would be a big red flag for me. But as long as you're going with, like I said, one of these legit pest control business company or pest control insurance, general liability insurance providers, you're gonna have more than enough coverage, in all honesty. And hopefully, of course, you never have to use it. But of course, that's the reason we have to get it, is because no one plans on using it, right? But it's one of them things where it's good to have in place, obviously, if you ever end up having to use it for some crazy reason. But hopefully, like I said, that helps answer that question. If not, just let me know. And then back to the question about formidable forms, like how did we create our form? Like we said, they have a plugin in WordPress. I'm trying to find it here. Formidable. And then you can see, actually, we have, you collected 60. Oh, yeah. Haven't had it that long. Yeah, we've only started using this, I want to say, since middle of May, roughly, off the top of my head. It was right around when my daughter was born. As a matter of fact, I think you can see right there, 5/15. She was born on 5/16. So yeah, right around when my second daughter was born, was when we hopped on Formidable for our website and created this form. And just to give you guys an idea, because I forget, like I said, who it was. I think his name is kind of like not showing up for some reason, but he was asking somewhere in here. Or no, that's who it was. Jersey Guys Balls asked. That's a funny name. Is there any way you can show us how you made that form? So, like I said, it gets very technical. I'll show you kind of what just the back end of it looks like, just so you have an idea. So whenever you're building the form, of course, you can style it in all these different ways. And in all honesty, we got to make some edits to this. I just haven't had the time to like sit down and deal with a lot of like the back end stuff with the form right now. But just to give an idea, there's a lot that goes into, it's more than just what you see here, right? You see the form here, just, it seems kind of simple, straightforward, the basic name, email, phone, all that type of stuff. And then you have all of your basic questions about, do you need the service, and then all that type of stuff. But what you don't see, of course, is what is on the back end of that. Which is, what am I trying to say? Like the quote unquote score side of it, the total price, to let them know what the price is actually going to be. Let me see, field, there should be something in here called conditional, let's see. Like I said, it's been a while since I've even messed with this. Let's just use this for example. So if we click on this and scroll down, you can see here on this back end, you can bulk edit the options. What this is this is giving it a score. The score would be the rate, right? So the score, 27, that'd be $27 a month, $59 $59 or $27 per month for quarterly, $59 per month, going monthly. One-time service, $145. I think that's the 0 to 1,000 square foot option, if I recall. And then, of course, like we said, there's conditional logic in here, which we actually I think this is the one field we didn't have to enter it, if I recall. There's, of course, advanced settings for if you want to, go in there and make even crazier edits to anything like that. Display format, simple, of course. Like I said, I kept the form as simple as possible. This is just a service frequency. So, okay, that's right. Now I'm starting to remember. It's all starting to click now. So it starts adding up a score, which is going to give the customer their rate based on their selections, right? So it starts out at a minimum 27 for the quarterly, minimum 59 monthly, one-time service, minimum 145, and then from here, it starts adding points based on their selection. So 0 to 1,000 square foot is going to add 2 points, $2, right? 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, that's going to add 5 points, $5, right? And so on and so on and so on, all the way down. And then, of course, you have the general pest score, which will give them, of course, their quote based on their score, if that makes sense. And to do that, I'm trying to see if it shows it. So what you have to do is you go in here and enter a calculation. So you're saying the brackets are letting this know in terms of like how to input the calculation. Put in ID 12 plus ID 13, and that's going to give you the general pest score, right? This is, the most standard basic example of this, but it is the most common in terms of quote requests that we do get. So that is where you would kind of start in terms of building this form within Formidable Forms. And then from there, whenever you would actually create the form, like he was referring to, he was saying, I have a GoDaddy website, but there is a way to embed a custom made form into the website as well. What you could do is once you have your form created, you could just hit the embed option and then, walk through the steps to do that. So, like I said, hopefully that kind of makes sense. And now they have a way where you can turn on Stripe payment options. We have been really debating putting an option in here, not that it would be required, but putting an option in here where if customers wanted to go ahead and pay up front, we would give them like a 5% discount. Like I said, just kind of throwing it out there as a test more than anything, see if we would get any bites on that. Because what makes a sale the most likely to go through? The least amount of friction in the sales process, right? Why do you think people go to Amazon and they can just literally multiple times a day in some cases buy? I mean, we've seen it, right? Just how many times do you roll up to a pest control customer's home, a quarterly service, and they already got packages at the door, and while you're doing the service, you see another Amazon guy come up and drop off more packages, right? I used to think, man, they haven't checked their packages in a few days. But then I started catching on that, because there's same-day delivery now in a lot of cities and suburbs, people can order something, overnight, get it the next morning, and then literally order something in the morning and have it there in the afternoon. And why is that? Because Amazon makes it so easy, such little friction to get you to buy something, submit the payment, all of that stuff. So I'm toying around with the idea of plugging this into our form as well. I'll keep you guys updated on that if we end up deciding to give it a try. I got a feeling I'm definitely going to at least, put it on a little test drive and just kind of go from there with it. But it's definitely interesting for sure. So roughly for a year, monthly, or quarter, what is the cost for pest control? I'm talking insurance, products, any and all expensive. Also, what is the Discord? The Discord should be in the description box of the videos if you trying to get it pulled up on my end just to make sure that it is. Let me take a look here. Just Just trying to pull up the stream for you guys really quick. So if you swipe out of the chat, because I'm on my phone right now, which I know most of you guys are probably watching from your phone. If you swipe out of the chat and you hit the more button where you see the description, if you hit more, of course you'll see a couple links in there, like my link tree, the Gorilla Desk free trial that you can get on us for 14 days. If you hit where it says link tree, well, it says specifically other links you may be interested in. That'll take you to my link tree, and it'll pull you up. It'll pull it up in the Safari, like in a separate tab or whatever. And then if you scroll down just past where it shows, of course, join Gorilla Desk today, you'll see, of course, the Pest Control Entrepreneurs Facebook group, which, of course, is free to join as well. We've been having a lot of you guys starting to join that lately as well, I notice. But then right below that, you have the Discord group. So I'll kind of give you an idea of what that kind of looks like. There's just a menu, essentially, of links that you can, click on. I'm trying to just make it easier, speaking of easy flow and stuff, talking about Amazon, just making it easier for you guys to see all these different links, like to our groups and all that type of stuff. And then if for whatever reason, you guys decide you want to follow on TikTok, Instagram, that kind of thing, then, again, it's just something that is available to you guys. But that's how you're going to be able to join the Discord group, Facebook group, all of that stuff as well. So hopefully that answers that. And then in terms of your question about roughly for the year, month, or quarter, what is the cost for pest control? I'm talking insurance, products, any and all expenses. Of course, that is going to range widely. I have a video, actually, as a matter of fact. If you go, I forget which playlist it's in, so I'm going to pull it up for you right now, as a matter of fact, because I always want to guide you to the right video and that kind of thing. Let's see. Let's go over here. Go to videos. Oh, which video was it? Let me see. Scroll. It's something about the math. Starting a pest control business to path to 1 million. I do not think it's that video. Which video is it? I forget exactly. Maybe it was that video. One of these videos here, it may be this video, the path to $1 million. But yeah, I believe it's that video. Yeah, the path to $1 million video. I break down just all of the different math. Yes, because that's the 50-minute video. Yeah, so I'm 99% positive this is the video right here. I'll copy and paste it. That way you can take a look at it afterwards. If you want like a complete breakdown, I'll give you a quick breakdown of it. I would go over it just completely for you real quick, but the problem is it wouldn't be quick at all. We'd spend a whole hour real quick breaking that down. And of course, that's why that's almost a 1 hour video. But just to give you an overview, kind of like a general idea. So in terms of insurance, like we mentioned, it's going to be usually around your first year, anywhere between $600 to $1,000, depending on who you go with and all that type of stuff. What kind of coverage you want in terms of, the amount of money, like the policy and all that good stuff. Let's see, you said products. Again, it's going to depend widely based on what products you want to use. Our average cost per service in terms of a treatment is around, $6 to $8, and that's on the, high end of everything. In terms of the product specifically, it's around $6 to $8, sometimes more, right? But on average, right around that $6 to $8 per service. And then again, like we said, that doesn't factor in gas, wear and tear on vehicle, paying yourself or a technician, anything like that. That's just the product specifically. Usually you want to factor in per service, if you're going to be paying a technician or yourself, whatever the case may be, about what did I use? $20 or $25, I believe, per stop in terms of payment. And then, if you want to add another $5 of miscellaneous for like wear and tear on your vehicle and that type of stuff, you can. But overall, you're going to be looking at, a rough estimate right around $30, $30 to $40 roughly in terms of cost per service. So then from there, you could just work it out, of course. We have a calculator down here. Let's just, like we said, give you a rough, quick estimate. Let's say your average service is going to cost you, we'll even just say $40, that higher number. Let's say you're going to be running just an average of 12 stops a day, a quote unquote full route. That's $480 a day of expenses, and that doesn't factor in taxes as well. You know what? Let's go ahead and just say on the ultra high end, $50, right? $50 times 12 equals $600 a day. Let's say you work, an average of 5 days a week, 50 weeks out of the year. So times 5 times 50, that would come out to, and again, this is for a full route. We're talking 12 paying stops per day in this example. That's $150,000 a year in expenses plus, of course, like we were talking about, your insurance. You could add another, if you're running a full route, your insurance is probably going to be somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000. I'd probably say $1,500 a year. So, you could add another $1,500 for that. You're probably going to have some slightly more complicated taxes, so we'll add another, $3,500 for that, just based on what I paid my accountant this past year. So, let's just say we add in, let's say we're 5% off. That would be another $7,500 roughly that we can add into that. That'd be about $162,500 in expenses. That's for a full route. 12 regs a day, if that's a quarterly route. Let's see, 12 times 5 equals 60 times, how many weeks would be in a quarter? There's usually, about 4 weeks, sometimes 5 weeks in a month, or that 4.5 type of week month. Times 3 months, we'll just say times 12 weeks is what we'll say. That is a full route of 720 customers that you're treating on a quarter by quarter basis. So if you have 720 customers, right, paying you in that example, that theory where it costs you $162,000 a year to just maintain your business, not including marketing, your growth aspect of the business, right? $720 or 720 customers a year that are paying you, let's just say, an average of $500 a year, just an easy number. That would come out to $360,000 per year minus, what did we say it was? Like $165,000, I believe, something like that, in expenses. That would come out to $195,000 for your NOI, your net operating income. And that factors in most expenses. Like we said, I'm doing this kind of quick, just off the top of my head. This is a full route, 12 regs a day, 12 regs a day is what we're doing here for the math. So, is that going to be precise? Absolutely not. But just like you said, just kind of wanted to at least give you a rough idea of what you could expect. Now, in terms of, say $100,000 business, that is where it can really start to vary because, of course, every company has busier services in every different type of area of the country, right? Like for me, I have spikes for termite work, and then it dips for most of the year, other than occasionally in the early fall. And then wildlife is like up and down, up and down. It's just a roller coaster all year round. Of course, there's the busy, the 2 busy seasons, but reality of it is it's up and down. I'll have no wildlife work for a little bit, and then I'll have random skunk jobs and possum jobs and exclusion jobs, just this and that coming out the wazoo in the middle of the summer because it's so hot and dry. They're just getting desperate for water, shelter, all that type of stuff. And then of course general pest control. And then, of course, like we said, we didn't hit on the marketing aspect in terms of if you're trying to continue to grow. So, like we said, that's a very rough estimate. I think $50 per service is more than enough in terms of what you want to figure for, your per service type of treatment. So, or per service. in terms of expenses overall, factoring in everything. But like I said, hopefully that kind of makes sense. And like I said, if not, let me know. And hopefully, I didn't even think to take a look. Hopefully the stream is going all right in terms of, we're not having any volume issues or any connection issues or anything like that. Of course, if we're having any issues at any point, do not hesitate to let me know in the chat. That's part of why I keep the chat pulled up. That way, if we have a volume issue with the mic or anything, or lagging or something crazy for some crazy reason, then you guys can let me know. I'm trying to think. I thought we had a couple of other quick questions in either Discord. I don't think we had any in Facebook, but I want to make sure that, let's see, I want to keep costs low, so not having a truck payment will help. Let's see, liability, we talked about that. Same question up there. We actually talked about this last night as well, which I got to use my new Flow Zone tips. I got to try them out, yesterday or the day before, and I really like the new Flow Zone lineup, which I guess I can get into that since I'm sharing my screen with you guys. I'll show you what tips I'm talking about, since Jersey Guys Balls also asked, what nozzle do you plan on using for mosquito treatments for your Flow Zone? Whenever we go to Flow Zone's website, just to give you guys an idea, we're going to be using these newer tips that they just came out with. So, and by the way, pro tip, don't get it off Flow Zone's website. Get it from Pest Web or Viserys is what they're known for. Plus, Flow Zone's practically sold out of all of theirs. So this new 110 degree T-Jet nozzle, that is the, quote unquote, when I say the lineup, that's what I'm referring to. So I didn't even see this garden hose adapter. That's pretty badass. But yeah, so what I ordered essentially was, of course, the adapter. And then also, let's see, this is just adapters. Where are the tips, though? Let me see. I think it's under accessories, maybe. So we ordered this, the 110 degree T-Jet nozzle adapter. And then we also ordered, I want to order another battery, to be honest. But let me see. Where are they? So I ordered the green nozzle, and I think I ordered like a yellow one. Not that one up here, but let me see. I think it might have been this one. And in all honesty, I do not know if there even is a difference with any of these. The green, the red, the yellow. I do not even know, in all honesty, if there's a difference between them. Other than, I will say this, because I've only used them once so far. Other than, I haven't used the yellow. I'm still waiting on it to show up for some reason. Might have to check in. I need to check my shipment document, make sure that they didn't forget to send it. But I will say, so far, I like the red one the most. The 110 degree, fan nozzle. I like it the most. The green one, I noticed for some reason I was having pressure issues. I don't know if I simply, when I screwed it back in, just didn't have it hooked up right. I tried, unscrewing it and putting it back together, multiple. There's not really very many different ways to do it. There's a right way and a wrong way. I made sure that there's a little O-ring in there. I made sure everything was lined up right. And the pressure just kind of sputters a little bit. It still comes out, but it kind of sputters, almost like if you were to buy some cheap, knockoff pressure washer tips, for your normal. Let's go back here. If you're referring to just the original tips, right? You know how you can buy the cheap pressure washer ones. If you order the wrong ones, of course, it does the same thing. It kind of sputters because it's not the right tip. For the Flow Zone, it was kind of having pressure issues like that. So The red one I didn't have no issues with. I love the red tip. Like it by far. I'm definitely gonna, like I mentioned last night, I'm gonna do a video review of that for you guys here before long, because man, that thing is a game changer. Like you really don't even need a mosquito mister after switching and getting, and you're talking, like, think about it, having a huge giant piece of equipment that constantly needs maintenance on when you're talking about those mosquito misters, not to mention the cost just to get one, or you can spend about $20 to get the little adapter kit, get the 110-degree tip or whatever they're calling them, and then you're good to go with the flow zone that you already have. So that, in my opinion, is the best thing that Flow Zone has came out with in really a very long time. As long as I've been knowing about Flow Zone products. Um, and I think that pretty much answers that question. And yeah, like I said, I know we went over it the other night, like last night, but I wanted to show you guys the exact tips and whatnot that I was talking about. Let's see. DeGreat was asking about studying for the operator's license tests in California, and I believe somebody else answered that as well. And like I was mentioning to him as well, a lot of times if you don't know who to get your supplies from in terms of studying supplies, usually I always suggest starting with like whoever's giving the test, and then of course calling up your Department of Agriculture. Usually they'll have the answer for you on the dot. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the recent questions from Discord. On Facebook, I don't believe we've had many questions or much activity of late. Of course, my activity is going to be in there in terms of giving you guys updates on, our videos and going live and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's been a while. Let me see. I think let's see. Who's everyone? That's a very common question. I need to make a video about just different pest control insurance providers or something, because that is a very, very common question, to say the least. I don't think there were any other questions on Facebook, like I said. And then in terms of, oops, clicked the wrong window. Go back over here. Like we said, in terms of formidable forms, like if you all are wondering, about creating your own form for your website, is generally speaking not too expensive. You can usually get away with either the basic or plus option, and like you can see, it's right around $100, $40 to $100 a year. I believe we are on, I don't know if we're on the plus or the business, to be honest. We may be on the business side. I think we did that on accident. As a matter of fact, we were on plus, and then I think I accidentally upgraded it because I noticed I was charged like another roughly $90 to $100. So that very well may have been what we were charged for, was the upgrade. But of course, you want to look and see what's going to be best for your website. By the way, they're always saying they're running a sale. I'll warn you guys on that. Don't think you have to purchase with it being 50% off. It's on sale pretty often. Not gonna lie. And I'm not even affiliated with them or anything right now. I don't even think I have an affiliate code for you guys or anything like that. But yeah, generally speaking, these are the two that you're going to be looking at for creating your form. If you're wondering what form I'm referring to, if you're tuning in for the first time, they are who I use to build. We're actually on our blog post right now. They're the ones who I use to build this custom form on our website to be able to give customers, a quote based on their selections for services, square footage of their home, or in the case of mosquito, acreage of their property. Do they have any other issues they need to tell us about? Kind of like a little contact us form at the bottom for if they want to let us know anything else. And then, of course, they just submit it. It can get very complicated, like I said, in terms of building that. It took me, I want to say, just because I had like no assistance with it or anything, that one of the actual, it may have been the actual creator of Formidable Forms, got on like a Google Meet with me to help me sort through some issues I was having, because I was following his specific YouTube content on how to create like an instant price form, which is of course what I was going for with this form that we built for our website, because it's such a highly converting form versus just a traditional contact us form. People, like I said, when you're trying to drive leads to your website, you want to set yourself apart from everybody else. When you pull up any other pest control business website, what are they doing? They're just simply asking for this stuff right here. What's your name? What area do you live in? What's your phone number? What's your email? And at the most, they may ask, what type of issue are you dealing with? Or let us know what you're dealing with, right? Just basic stuff. Where with us, we say, hey, get your personalized quote. And, no one does that, like, ever. I don't really see anybody that does that, really. And so they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I need pest control. Oh, quarterly is most common. By the way, I need to change this to most affordable. But yeah, do quarterly, and then, I think my home's about 3,000 square foot. And then, you start letting them know, of course, what other services you offer. I can't tell you how many mosquito customers and termite customers we've gotten just because we simply have this listed here as an option, right? So it's definitely a cool tool. That alone can help just literally drive your business through the roof, as long as, of course, you have website traffic, coming to your website, I should say, to begin with, in terms of your Google business profile and, all that type of stuff, of course. But yeah, like as you can see here, our traffic's going up, total keywords going up, average position going up, all the good things that we're looking for going up, which leads me actually to a point that I was referring to recently when we were talking about Google Search Console. Let's see, I don't want to do rich results. Let's see, performance. When it comes to tracking Google Search Console, this is what it's going to look like. If you have any questions or anything, by the way, just shout it out in the chat. This is what it's going to look like when you pull up your Google Search Console and you have your domain, property is what they call it, attached to your account. It's going to show up this page, and it's going to honestly probably freak you out the first time that you load it up, just because you're like, what am I looking at? The main thing that you need to pay attention to is where are the searches coming from. Of course, web search is what we care about. What is the date in terms of what the graph is showing you and the results and this and that. Usually I like to keep this when I'm first looking at everything. I'll look at the last 28 days, then 7 days, then the recent, and then I'll go back like 6 to 12 months just to kind of get the broader view. But usually I like to start right around 28 days. And then also I like to obviously filter out just to United States. I don't care about a bunch of BS from other countries, mostly spammers trying to get me to buy their BS, SEO service or something, when it's usually just a scam, right? And then from there, if you want to look at your CTRs or whatever the case may be, you can. I don't personally. Main thing I'm wanting to see is, what is our average position? What's the high of that 28 days? What's kind of, your low of the 28 days? And then, of course, how many clicks are we getting? Looks like we were getting just over 1 click a day over the last 28 days. And from there, I like to come down here and go to pages. And when I go to pages, you can see here, you can filter it based on how many clicks, how many impressions, average position, etc. I like to go to impressions first and do the drop down for what is getting the most impressions, because that, of course, is letting us know right from the get-go which of our pages are, showing up on Google search, regardless of how deep they may be down Google search. It just lets us know that, hey, these may be some high priority pages that we want to optimize more for, or if there's pages that are getting a bunch of impressions that, really shouldn't be, you may want to de-optimize those pages. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but there may be pages that you want to de-optimize and other pages that you actually want to optimize for more traffic in terms of other pages, because not every page on your website is going to rank well. So you have to dedicate resources to the pages that you want to rank well. The ones that we want to rank well primarily are our service location pages. From there, you could probably say the service pages, and then, just kind of work your way down from there. But service location pages are by far the most important in terms of trying to drive organic traffic to your website. And one thing I'll tell you guys too is that when you're looking at clicks in this chart here, I don't know if you guys can tell, this is only showing 9, 11, 12 clicks, where obviously we've had 35 clicks. So when you're looking at most important to least important down here, clicks is the last thing you want to even worry about, because it's not even correct. I've noticed forever it's never correct. Impressions is the most important. They're kind of tied, really. They're both important, right? You want to have high position, but you of course want high impressions as well. So I wouldn't even say necessarily that one is more important than the other, but clicks is by far the least important, just because, like I said, the clicks on here, they're never right. It is the one downside. If there's one thing I would complain about with Google Search Console, that's what it would be. From there, what I like to do is, I like to, just get a quick little overview. One thing I am encouraged by is a lot of our service location pages are starting to show up towards the top in terms of impressions. It was not always the case. I can show you guys in a minute kind of like the 6 month, 12 month, just to give you guys an idea. 3 month even, whatever time frame further out that we want to take a look at. And then from here, once I get a kind of, little glimpse of that, I like to filter it by position, what's ranking the worst, what's ranking the best. Like we said, there may be pages ranking well that may be over optimized. Video library, like I said, these are pages that we don't even really necessarily want ranking well. The contact us, I don't really mind. Where we serve, I don't really mind, but our services, and specifically service library, I could care less that this is ranking well. Now the good thing is they're not getting hardly really, compared to the pages we were just looking at, any impressions, right? 30, 61, 74, that's a good amount, which makes sense because even Google Search Console showing it's getting clicks, which I can tell you for a fact, we do get quite a few form submissions from our Contact Us page. I've noticed that for probably at least 6 months now. But when we go back and take a look at it from here, when you compare that to 574 impressions over the last 28 days, 490, 300, 293, 291, etc., it's really not that many impressions, right? So it's not the end of the world. Google is slowly kind of starting to recognize what pages are the most important to us. And impressions is where it all begins. And then from there, of course, as you build more topical authority, you implement a good link building strategy, structuring your website properly, getting some backlinks whenever you can, that kind of thing. It'll just, help everything overall. Longer term, from here, we can take a look at Pest Control Frisco, for example. I'm encouraged that this actually just started going up because I literally just published our service pages. The only thing I had up for a while now is our Pest Control, Frisco, Texas service location page. Didn't have any type of topical content pointing to this web page at all. And I really still don't have hardly any. Like I said, just the service location, the services within that service location page is all that I've built so far for that page. And then I think I just recently did one article. I don't even know if I did, as a matter of fact. But if I did just one article recently. So this, by this getting so many impressions, I think I mentioned this actually in a previous stream, this specific page, I was like, I feel kind of dumb for not paying more attention to this page, because I have some untapped potential with this page specifically. And you can see for a while it took a massive slump. Wasn't even showing up hardly for a while, ranking near like page 10, right? Barely even showing up. And then recently, once I started kind of structuring our website properly, we're slowly but surely, we took that initial pop from, page 10 to page 5, and we're just kind of slowly but surely, chugging our way back up into like page 4. And I cannot wait to show you guys the results on this about 6 to 12 months from now, whenever I can really start building some topical authority for Frisco, Texas. How's it going there, Tropical Fruit Loops? What's your source of lead? What source of leads got your company off the ground? Google Local Services by far. The fact that it's pay per lead, you don't have to pay some big giant upfront marketing cost or anything like that. Even though the prices have gone up exponentially. Even though the prices have gone up exponentially over the last 1 to 2 years specifically, there's very little that can compete with it. I would say Thumbtack isn't too bad as well. The ones you want to stay away from, at least in my opinion, from my experience only, is Yelp, like Yelp ads specifically, and Angie, of course, or Angie Leads, whatever you want to call them, right? Those two are the worst in the pest control industry, in my opinion. I'm sure there may be some other ones out there that are even worse than them, but Facebook ads don't really do that well, in my experience. They're great for, you can set up, what's it called, retargeted marketing, something like that. If you have your Facebook pixel set up properly and everything, and brand awareness too, that's another thing that Facebook is good for. But other than that, in terms of lead generation, it's just from my experience, not that great. Google Ads is good, but of course takes a lot more time and money to kind of get off the ground itself. So in terms of just getting started, like I've suggested really from day one on this channel, getting on Google Local Services, followed by, maybe like Thumbtack. And then of course, I always forget to mention, going into groups on like Nextdoor, Facebook groups, like local town and city groups, neighborhood groups, that kind of thing, and searching in those groups for posts that mention, pest control, rodent control, whatever service you provide, and just simply responding to those posts, introducing yourself, not even like necessarily trying to sell them, but just saying, hey, my name is, in my case, Griffin, or you don't even have to say my name is, right, because it's Facebook or Nextdoor, your name is showing up already. You can just say, hey, I live in your area and I'm the owner of X company, and, I'll even do this on older posts sometimes when business is like really slow, which is rare for us anymore. But when business is really slow, I will, go through and I'll even look at posts up to 3 months old, and I'll hop in there and be like, hey, hopefully this ended up getting taken care of for you. If for some reason you're still having an issue or anything, I live in your area. I'm the owner of Preferred Pest Management. Here's my, direct number. You feel free to text or call me if you have, any questions or concerns still about this issue, or if you just need anything in the future, don't hesitate to, reach out to me directly. I cannot tell you the number of not just leads, but customers that we have today from just doing that simple stuff. I mean, that's not even hard work, right? I mean, you're literally just opening up your freaking phone, and instead of, searching through bullshit on TikTok, Instagram, etc., you're focusing on making connections to build your business at the end of the day. Because like you said, you're talking about getting the business off the ground. You got nothing but time early on. Like if I were to suggest something in terms of, when you're very first getting started, because even me, I can kind of get disconnected now since I've been in business for about 3 years. Sometimes I have to like really go back and remember how those days were first getting started. You have so much time on your hands, right? So, of course, you could do things like door knocking. You could do the Google local services. You could do Thumbtack, all that stuff. But nothing beats, what are you going to be doing for the most part if you're not knocking on doors or something, right? You're usually going to be sitting at home. So why not, instead of just scrolling through BS, why not, like we said, go in these groups, join them. Obviously, you don't want to just join a group and just start soliciting, posting stuff, follow the group rules. But most group rules, they don't say anything about responding to posts promoting your business. They just don't want you going in there spamming, just posting business stuff nonstop in there in terms of actual posts, right? So go in there. That is the number one I would suggest, actually. Google local services would be number two to that. Number one, because it's free and it doesn't cost nothing but time and effort, is going in there and, like I said, searching those groups. That is a heavily underrated thing that pest control business owners, specifically like solo operators, heavily undervalue and just I think it's not even that they undervalue or underestimate it. It's just it's not something that's really thought of. It's kind of thinking outside the box to a certain degree, which it really shouldn't be. If you're on social media and you're trying to, you're thinking in the back of your head about what can I do to grow my business, why wouldn't you think about, hey, such and such in my local group asked who needs a pest control, or not who needs, but who knows a good pest control company. Sometimes they will post stuff in there super blunt like that. They'll just get straight to the point. Hey, I have a huge ant issue. Who do you guys suggest for a pest control company? And of course, you'll have BS comments in there about, oh, you can do it yourself, blah, 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 and all that bullshit, right? But you're not trying to sell to them. You're trying to sell that person who asked that question. So that's where, you put your professional hat on, say, hey, sorry you're having that issue. I'm actually the owner of, Preferred Pest Management right down the road from you in Rowlett. And, if you're having that issue still, feel free to give me a call or message me here on Facebook directly, and we can look to set up, an inspection or a treatment or whatever, you want to say at the end of the day, and, get you a lead out of it. So that is what I would say first. Reach out through social media, and then from there, Google local services. From there, probably Thumbtack, at least as of, again, this is from about a year or two ago, based on my most recent experience with those companies, then Thumbtack, and then, Google ads, and then last would probably be like Facebook ads for more so just, or not organic, but like we're talking about brand awareness, retargeted ads, that kind of thing. So hopefully that helps answer that question. But yeah, I was trying to find, let's see. If you're wondering what this is actually our, what do you call it? Like tracking link or whatever. It shouldn't have even been showing up. I don't even think it is anymore. Yeah. It should have never really been showing up to begin with. This is pretty much letting us know kind of where we were showing up in terms of our Google business profile. It should have never been tracking this to begin with, so I'm glad it's not anymore, but because it was kind of getting annoying. I was like, I don't need to know that. It has nothing to do with my website, but yeah, I don't know why that even started happening, to be honest. Thank you, brother. Happy birthday to your daughter. Oh, yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, we had a very, very busy day for sure. At first, I didn't know if I was even going to be able to do a live stream today. I'm still in my swimming trunks, as a matter of fact. Even got the little bro tank on or whatever. Yeah, no, it's been a busy day for sure. And always a pleasure to help, too. And man, yeah, she's already 4 years old. That's crazy. Let's see, what was I going to take a look at in here? Oh, we're on the 12-month chart. So yeah, what I was going to do is see what I was referring to earlier was how, what do you really not see up here at the top from 12 months ago? You have one service location, but then you have, of course, homepage, like we said, that GMB one, the contact us, a random blog post that I'm almost annoyed at by how well it was doing. And then, of course, as you start getting further down the list, you had some of the service location pages, specifically the ones that were closest to us, which I find very interesting. Saxe, literally right next to us, just to the like northwest, west northwest. Rockwall, literally directly to the east of us. Garland, directly to the west and southwest, and directly south of us. So it's interesting to see that those were the pages that were still, showing up for us. Now, what do you see though? Very little impressions for the Saxe, Texas one. The Rockwall and Garland one were doing decent, but nothing. Again, this is 12 months, keep in mind. So you divide that by 12 months, that's what? Roughly, well, we got a calculator right here. 4,000 divided by 12. That was about 333 impressions per month. And then the Garland one, 2142 divided by 12 months was around 178. Where if we go to just the last 28 days alone, not even a full month, right? We scroll down here and take a look at impressions. Garland, Texas has 300 in the last 28 days alone. Let's see, where is our Saxe? So Frisco, Plano, Garland, Richardson, Rowlett, and then, we did recreate our Rockwall one. That is a totally new link structure and everything. That one's had 100. I'm wondering where our Saxe one is. Let me, how do I want to do this? Do it based on position. Fate, Texas. I'm interested why Fate is not getting hardly any impressions. It may be that it's not, there's an optimization issue going on there. I need to take a look at that. But see, this is what Google Search Console is great for, because what will happen is, what is going on? Impressions. Making sure that I didn't skip over it. Rockwall. Wiley, Royce City. Where is my Saxe page? Frisco, Plano, Garland, Bedbug, Richardson, Rowlett. Saxe was up here, so where the hell did my Saxe page go? Let me do something here really quick. Saxe. We'll just copy it. And we'll do it this way. That's the cool thing too. Say you have issues finding a page or something, you can just find it this way. So let's see. Our pest control Saxe, that one has gotten 36 impressions. The average rank is actually better now. It's at 25. The impressions are very low though. Now this could be that Saxe is just a very small suburb. Just to give you guys an idea, the entire population is 29,000, so it's a very small little suburb. Just to put in perspective, Rowlett is right here. Like I said, directly, northwest of us is Saxe. But it's a very, very small suburb, so that could be part of why there's just very little impressions. The click-through rate, 4%, I mean, that's because they're only showing 2 clicks, and CTR was 100%. But the good thing is the position of that is not horrible. You can see 21, that's what, top of page 2, roughly, if my math is right. Let's see, 10, 20, or no, bottom of page 2. We've been as high as right around bottom of page 1. So yeah, I mean, the ranking it's not like a SEO thing in terms of the position side of it. It's a matter of just simply getting more impressions, which I can tell you based on analysis through SEMrush, there is very little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like website searches in Saxe, Texas. Which, like I said, we were talking about the population factor, only 29,000 people. Now, that is in 2021, so I would say, based on how fast the suburbs are growing, it's probably closer to like 40,000 at this point, but still, even then, it's still relatively low. But something I definitely want to keep an eye on, if nothing else, because if we go to the last 12 months, well, I guess that's actually pretty on par. That's actually very on par. Let's see. 300, what did it say? 368 impressions divided by 12. That'd be 30 impressions a month, and we're at 36 over the last 28 days. So it's actually pretty on par, if not slightly outperforming in terms of impressions. You can see actually the impressions are higher. I mean, just on Monday, August 7th, which was just this past week alone, we had 9 impressions on that page, where the previous high was 8, 8, 8 again. And then you can see we've done some, a 7. I mean, you can just tell that the impressions are definitely going up. It's just that, like I said, this is definitely going to be a page that I'm keeping an eye on, just seeing if this trend continues and that our impressions do go up. We'll see. It's an interesting page for sure. Just to give you guys an idea, let's take a look at, there's the Saxy page, but that's on the 12 month. Let's take a look at, let's do Frisco, I guess. Oh no, we already did Frisco. That's right. Let's go back. What haven't we done yet? Garland? Let's take a look at Garland. So you can see same thing kind of happened with Garland. We were doing decently, and then boom, our rankings just plummeted. And then ever since then, we've been slowly but surely chugging along. We did see a dip recently, and I noticed the moment that I published just a short little article, again, Topical Authority, linking up to that Garland page. What do you see here? We go from going down to, boom, back up to 32, where we dropped all the way down to, 45? That's a whole page difference almost overnight by just, again, adding some topical authority. Now, does this mean that, oh man, so I'm going to have to publish blog content every day for every service location? No, but you should at least get in the habit of every day or two having some sort, and again, this is something that I need to even get better at as well, but you want to, depending on how many service locations you have, obviously me, I have a bunch because there's a ton of suburbs, but say you only have a couple, it'll be very easy for you, right? Because like for me, for example, I have at least 10 to 20 service locations I really want to rank for. So what does that mean? If I want to publish at least 4 pieces of content per month for topical authority for each service location, what does that mean? 4 times 10, that's 40 pieces of content. That means I'm going to be needing to make 1 to 2 pieces of content per day. Not per location, but need to be making ideally 1 to 2 pieces of content per day to stay on pace with my goal for our, SEO in terms of the topical authority building for that for each service location. Say you have, 5 service locations that you're servicing, right? And you want to publish 4 pieces of content per month for each. And I'm just using 4 as like 1 a week, right? Say you want to post 4 pieces of content per month for each service location. That means you're going to need 20 pieces of content total. So that would mean if you're only working Monday through Friday and you don't want to work Saturdays or Sundays, which by the way, this would be the worst way to do your content creation. You would essentially need to do about a piece of content per day, or you can do what I like to do, which is, on my light days or on my weekends, like Saturdays specifically, I will try to sit down whenever, life isn't just super busy. I'll try to sit down and pump out like a week's worth of articles, using like ChatGPT and some of these other tools that can help you, kind of, speed up the process and just go from there. And not every piece of content has to be like long form content either. It can be content as short as 300 to 600 words, right? You want it to usually be at least 3 to 500 words at the minimum, but not every single piece of content has to be some long form blog. You can do, a frequently asked question about X service blog. You can do a piece of, YouTube video content that you're linking to a page. You can be creating, optimize or not optimizing, but creating another service page for a service that you offer that you may have not created. The whole thing is you just need to be creating content that lets Google know that you are a authority of this specific search that people are searching for. That's where, again, it's very important to know what your customers are searching for. You're not trying to just create content for the hell of it to, you're not trying to create a blog just to drive traffic to your website. You want to drive the traffic to your website that is actually going to convert people into customers. So it's a never-ending process for sure. Like, I can't stress that enough. But the main thing is just starting and, evaluate every few months, what's working, what's not working, and just make little tweaks. Don't try to completely overhaul your process or anything like that. Just make little tweaks to what you're doing, and then over time you'll start seeing, one, a compound effect of what you've been doing is working. Two, the little tweaks that you make will just make it that much better at the end of the day. And then, of course, there's more things that you can do in the Google Search Console, in the Google Search Console, such as check on, your sitemaps. You can add a new sitemap in here. You can remove certain pages that you don't want to be either outdated content, temporary removals, whatever the case may be. We've put some in here for previously expired URLs. This is not the best way to do it. You can see it even says like removal expired. What we actually ended up doing is we set up what's called redirects. So say for some reason this does pop up, it will actually redirect them to the correct page versus showing that error 404, like this page doesn't exist, because that is the last thing you want on your website. Just to give you an idea, let's see if I can find it here. Is it under, I forget where it's at. Is it under pages maybe? Let's see. There should be something about errors. I'm trying to see. It's been a while since I've had any major errors showing up. Let's see. Is it page experience? No. There we go. Yeah, mobile. Maybe it's the mobile usability. So it'll tell you first and foremost what's usable versus what's not usable. And then there's supposed to be another area that will also show you man, they must have changed something on here, because there used to be something under indexing. Maybe it's in the sitemaps. Let's see. No, it's not in the sitemaps. Man, this is strange. Usually there's something in here that'll tell you, it's usually right here. It will tell you what errors there may be. Let's see. You can also take a look, of course, at impressions with, your indexed pages. Obviously, as indexed pages rises, you would ideally want to see the impressions continue to go up. Ours has been kind of sideways, which is, this is only over the last, 2 to 3 months, which I can tell you guys since late May, I have not been very consistent with publishing content, so that does make sense. Let's see. So maybe this is what it is. So this is where, you're seeing, okay, so it's not showing up as red anymore. That's what it is. So it threw me off. These used to show up as like red, as like actual errors. But I think since I have set up redirects that they're not, because usually it would show up here as like, some sort of error, right? That needs to be fixed. But I think that since I have redirects, I either have redirects set up to them or what is the other option? If you go in here, you can go in here and let's say you wanted to say, and I have a video about this too, but say you wanted to like add a new redirect, you can just put it as a 410, which means content deleted, and then you can, send it to another URL from there. You can just set it as permanent move, whatever the case may be. I want to investigate that further though, just to make sure that it's not something that could be potentially hurting our website, because they have been on the rise since we've been making all of our adjustments to our website. But yeah, this is stuff that you just got to pay attention to when, you're trying to get over that hump in terms of going from a business that's getting just a couple of leads a month or so to, really trying to take that next step of getting 30, 50, 100, whatever your target lead number is per month, or target, customer acquisition number per month. You have to focus on all of this stuff in terms of the analytics of your website, because it's a never ending battle at the end of the day when it comes to content creation, and like we said, the back end stuff of the website, like your 404 errors, redirects, the SEO, all that type of stuff. It's a never-ending game at the end of the day, and you better, like I always stress, like there's a lot of people who they love the pest control business, but they don't love business itself, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of people who they want to start the pest control business because they want to get away from the the corporate BS, of the big companies primarily, and or maybe they just see how much money you can make as a pest control business owner. But a lot of people don't want to fall in love with the process that it takes to get to the quote unquote next level, in terms of, anyone can start a pest control business, but not anyone can just grow a pest control business. You're not going to be able to just simply fire up your pest control business, open up a Google business profile account, open up, a Facebook business account, and this and that and the other, and maybe set up a couple of ads, and your business just boom, take off. Like, it's not that simple. There's so much that goes into it, and if you don't fall in love with the actual business aspect of your pest control business, then you're never gonna be any more than just a one-man operator first and foremost, but you may not even get to the six-figure level, $100,000 plus, because like we said, there's a certain level to it that a lot of people will try to work out the math, right? We talk a lot on this whiteboard even about the math of pest control, right? Your pest control business. But what a lot of people fail to realize is what you're not taking into consideration is cancels. A lot of people will try to, even when they do take into consideration cancels, they'll try to use percentages. And percentages for companies that are smaller, you can't do it, because you may have a 0% cancel rate for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then all of a sudden, after the holidays usually is when we tend to get our largest influx of cancels. You may have a high month where, say, you only have 100 active customers or 200 active customers, and you get 5 cancels one month. Well, that's going to look like a horrible month on paper, right? You just lost, if it's 100 customers or, even 200 active customers, and you just lost 5 in 1 month, that's going to be what, right around a 3% cancel rate. I mean, that's not very good. Just being real, right? In terms of month over month, if you lose 3% of your base every single month, you're not going to be in business very long, right? The main thing is customers in versus customers out. That's where even a lot of these bigger companies are struggling right now. Is you get to a point where the amount of customers that are going out, or the amount of customers that is coming in, rather, is not outpacing the amount of customers that are going out. And that's where, you're just having a pest control business that is due for failure at the end of the day. There's no staying the same. You're either going positive or you're either going negative. There's never, if you ever have like this set goal for your pest control business, you're in a way really setting yourself up for failure from the standpoint of, what are you going to do once you hit that goal? You're not going to be able to stay the same. It's impossible. Either you're growing as a company or you're fading as a company. That's just the math of business at the end of the day. Anytime and I say we, me specifically, anytime when I was very first getting started and I would just have a rough month or week or whatever the case may be and just kind of took the foot off the gas and really wasn't focusing on customer acquisition, the moment a cancel would come through, I would just be like, almost devastated. And then I sat back one day and realized, like, dude, like, why are you tripping essentially so much over one cancel? Like, obviously we don't want customers to cancel, but it's one cancel. And then I realized, well, because I've been fucking off, and now we're at -1 on the month, and we're a week or 2 weeks into the month, and we haven't even had a customer acquisition for the month. So now we have to sell one customer just to get it break even, in terms of that recurring income month over month. So my whole point with that is fall in love with the process, fall in love with the data. Don't just fall in love with, the potential, the shiny green object, being money, right? The potential. Fall in love with the process, fall in love with every aspect of the business. Doesn't mean that you're gonna love it every single day. Hell no. There are so many days where, like I said, I just don't want to do it. Just being totally honest with you. There are so many days where I'm like, don't want to do this shit no more. Like, I'm done. But I try to control it the best that I can with, things like what I do when I first wake up in the morning. Do I kind of lay around and I'm groggy and just, starting my day off with a bad attitude? Or when I wake up, am I kind of like, sure, I may not want to get up, but in my head I'm going, hey, we got to attack the day. Let's go attack our goals. We got shit to do. Just kind of, light your own fire. It all starts as soon as you hit that either alarm clock, your phone, whatever is waking you up. As soon as those eyes open up, one, just be grateful that you have another day, another opportunity, right? And then from there, just control what you're telling yourself, because what you're telling yourself as the CEO, the operator, whatever you want to refer to yourself as, it's going to either make or break you at the end of the day. But I see we haven't had any questions in a little bit. I see we got like 5 of you tuning in right now. Oh shoot, by the way, for those of you that are tuning in right now, I did get our page up for you guys as promised. By the way, if you're enjoying the live stream, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. I see we already have like 4 or 5 likes so far, but if you haven't already, do me a favor. It's super easy to do. Just smash that thumbs up button. It lets YouTube know first and foremost that you like the content. That way you'll keep, seeing these live streams and videos from the channel, but also lets me know as well that, you guys appreciate me doing these live streams for you, because it just lets me know that I'm doing this for a reason at the end of the day. I'm trying to find it here. Where the hell is it? There we go. The little, basic starter sales script that I was referring to. I did create that for you guys. Of course, this was the live stream that we mentioned it. That way, if anyone sees this page and they're like, what's he talking about? Like, they can just come back and see the live stream, of course. But as promised, I created like a printable PDF for you guys. The exact one with, it's like two-sided, or not two-sided. You can make it two-sided, but It comes with, you can, if you want to, you can cut it and turn it into 2 slips, whatever the case may be. Point being, this can handle 2 customers or whatever in terms of lead information. You guys were wanting that in our stream a couple nights ago, and I finally got that uploaded for you guys, as well as, explaining the pest control services to new customers. Just going over, like we said, the whole doing the inside every service. Do you do the inside every service? So to give you an idea of how our service works, on the first service, we want to treat the inside and outside to ensure we get everything started off as close to perfect possible. After your initial service, the reason we need to come out quarterly is because the chemical barrier on the outside will begin to wear off after 60 to 90 days. So we come out around the 90-day mark to reinforce that chemical barrier. However, the inside is warranted as long as you're a customer with us. This means if you are seeing any live activity in your home, and it should say in your home, but in between services, in between your services, we will return to touch up the inside at no additional cost. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward, to the point post. It was supposed to be out yesterday for you all, but yesterday was just a crazy busy day, unexpectedly, and just ran out of time in a day at the end of the day. So made it real quickly this morning for you guys. I will copy this link and paste it in the chat. How's it going there, Salvador? Paste it in the chat here for anyone, specifically that was wanting it. I'll post it in our Discord group chat as well. I'll probably go ahead and put it in Facebook as well after the stream ends. Let's see, what'd you say? Yep. Can only outsell a bad cancel rate for so long, eventually dumping more into marketing, can't make it up. Exactly. No, I mean, that is spot on. You can't, this is why, people a lot of times are like, how are you growing your company without virtually spending any money on advertising? Because just being honest, you guys know that I don't spend that much marketing money. Like, I don't spend much money on marketing. I just kind of cash flow it in terms of, if the end of the month comes up and I see that we're going to have, say, $300 or $1,000 or whatever the case may be, I try to carry very little profit month over month, first and foremost. And second is I like to reinvest when possible into customer acquisition, equipment, all that type of stuff, right? So that's when we will do marketing. But with that, it's more so, not customer acquisition, but like brand awareness more than anything is usually what I'm investing into. Like, for example, I ran a Facebook ad for like a week or so, spent a quick $100 or so, got, what was it? I forget how many people seen it. I think it was like something like 10, it was only women. It was like a women targeted ad. I have specific demographics set up, and it reached something like 10,000 women or more in one very specific area that we're trying to spread the brand, brand awareness in. And what was it? It received, like I said, 10 to 11,000 actual people seen the ad, and they seen it almost 4 times per person. It's at a rate of like 3.83 or something like that. So that was, again, just more of a brand awareness. The more they see you, the more they hear about you, the more likely that, say, they end up having an issue later on down the road, they're going to remember that company. That's the whole thing with brand awareness. But the point being, everybody's like, how are you growing at all when you're not really spending any money on marketing? And I'm like, well, one basic concept is, if you have a great product or a great service, in our case, the customers do the selling for you, in terms of referrals, which God only knows how many referrals we have. Not a lot of people will even tell us, which blows my mind, because I tell people, hey, if you refer somebody, stress to them that they need to let me know. That way you get your $25 credit off your next service, because, we appreciate the referrals and whatnot. But so many people will not ever mention that they were referred to us by a friend or a coworker or whatever the case may be. And I mean, it sucks for that coworker or whatever, because I mean, we don't know at the end of the day, because we don't know who knows who or anything like that, right? But the point is whenever you have a great product, great service, regardless of what business you're in, but of course for us, the pest control business, you get enough great reviews across all these different platforms, Google, Facebook, even, the ones that we hate like Yelp, right? You get enough good reviews and build up such a great reputation. One, the internet naturally rewards you through things like the Google business profile, right? Like we mentioned, just last month alone, we received 42 inbound calls from our Google business profile. Like, it gets to a point where it's like, how much call volume, how many leads can you actually handle, right? Like for us right now, we can only handle, depending on the day, week, etc., over a monthly basis, we could have probably only handle about 100 leads per month because, man, sorry, I just had to take a drink. It's so dry. Because when it comes to, running your business, you can't just think, oh, well, I can answer the phone, 5 times a day or 10 times a day, right? And therefore, I can handle 5 to 10 leads per day. No, wrong. Because you can't be thinking, like me and Salvador just talking about here, you can't be thinking just about the next customer. You got to think about the current customers. They're going to have questions. They're going to need callbacks, follow-up services, etc. They're going to take more time than just their quarterly service, monthly service, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, whatever the case may be. They're going to have, I forgot to pin this comment. They're going to have more needs than just the basic, what you're accounting for. So you need to take all that into consideration. At some point, marketing ends up costing you, because why market your service? One, if it's a shit service, shit product, whatever the case may be, because like Salvador said there, you can only have a bad cancel rate for so long. What do you think is going to happen, first and foremost, if you prioritize getting new customers over your current customers? Your cancel rate's going to go through the roof. So then you're marketing for literally no reason, and then it's costing you money because now you're going negative because your cancel rate gets so high. You start going at a 1-to-1 ratio, you are losing money. Like you're losing money. It's simple math at the end of the day. So that's facts. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just simple math first and foremost. So take care of your current customers first and foremost, always. And when you're doing your math, always factor in the unexpected. That's what I'm gonna leave you all with tonight. It's already after 11 o'clock here. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. I'm gonna try to go live again. Either go live. Yeah, I'll probably go live because, yeah. I'm thinking we're probably gonna go live again tomorrow. If not, then we'll upload a video, a short, something for you guys. But I'm thinking we're gonna go live again tomorrow for you guys. Like I said, I left that link for you guys as promised to this little sales script that you guys can print out. Again, it's not like a super in-depth sales script or anything. Just a standard basic, for, if your wife is helping you or whatever. Someone who has zero pest control experience can help you get your business going in terms of getting customers' information and get them sold, that kind of thing. And just some little, tips on some rebuttals for like inside service and that kind of thing as well. So I linked that in the comments and pinned it for you guys. Hopefully, it helps you guys out. If you have any questions after the live goes from a live to a video, don't hesitate to drop it down in the chat or in our Facebook group or Discord, which links to join those is in the link tree, which is linked down below. It should say something like links that you will benefit from or something along those lines. And yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy tonight's stream. If you did, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any future live streams or videos. And of course, I will see you guys, like I said, tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.